Nikola Jokić is kind of a robot, but he's also the most relatable human of all time. First of all, his quote yesterday about if you missed like him saying that he doesn't want to be at a parade because he wants to go home and like see his horses and stuff, and that he like hates work and all of that stuff, and then he gets to the parade and he's like, I fucking love the parade. That is awesome. Like, he is a robot but so relatable. What I think is the bigger question here that people seem to like kind of be getting at is it a big deal that basketball isn't his life and it's just a job for him? Like, do you have feelings on that? Like, does it bother you? Do you care? If this was Jason Tatum, would you feel the same way?
No, because I think it's interesting when you look at what he's done and the fact that he is from Serbia, he's from another country. And the story is that he was at the press conference. Someone asked if he was excited for the parade on Thursday. Him not realizing the parade was on Thursday, realized he was going to have to stay in the US and not go home. He was pretty disappointed, but he did have a great time. I think that personally, listen, I get it. I'm the first person to be like, athletes are people too. And if he wants to go home and he wants to, I understand that it's a job for him. For me, that almost makes it more impressive because he is one of the more dynamic centers that I've seen in basketball in a really long time.
Yeah, top 5 all time already.
All time. And I just, the fact that it is just a job, which I don't know is necessarily true. I think obviously if you're playing basketball professionally, basketball is your life. But I think it speaks more to his character that he is just like, yeah, I have my
family person.
I have my family and I have to put my priorities where my priorities are. And I think I really kind of felt more sympathetic for that after watching Full Swing and watching a lot of those athletes with their families. And when you watch Hard Knocks and things like that, where you get to see kind of the behind the scenes, I think it's easy for us to get so lost when we look at it just from a broadcast to broadcast perspective, that these guys are people and they have lives and they have families and they have, drama and things that they're dealing with and relationships and children. So good for him. I'm happy for him, honestly.
Yeah, I see a lot of Nuggets fans being like, he's not dedicated, like he doesn't actually love basketball, like I don't want a guy like this, does he even care? And it's like, he just won you your first championship.
Literally.
Who gives a shit if he wants to go see his horses and hang out with his family? I honestly think it makes him more likable because it shows that he's like actually a human and not just like a basketball robot. Like, could you imagine if you had this like big Eastern European dude who just is like, yes, basketball and hoop, that's my life, that's it. Like, he's more likable for this. And you know what? Who cares if he wants to go home at the end of the game? I probably would too.
Yeah, literally
Who
me.
gives a shit?
Especially if you live in Serbia and your whole family is there.
Dude, if Trevor Lawrence won the Super Bowl and he was like, yeah, I don't even really like football that much, I'd be like, I don't give a shit. I'm still going to go spray champagne on every single person I know and go fucking feral for the next year of my life.
Literally. And you have to imagine too, for a guy like him, a guy his size, after the performance that he put out there and the season he had, my man was probably just tired. He probably just wanted to go to bed, to sleep in your own bed. Like, yeah, I want to go home. Like,
yeah.
I get it.
I also get why people complain when series end in 5 games or it's, whatever. Is it bad for the sport? Is it whatever? Honestly, no, because put out better product then. Be more competitive. Win games. Stop bitching about it. Win or don't. Shut up. Shut up. Who cares?
That leads me to my first point about the NBA Finals, which is that we all correctly guessed the outcome and the number of wins and the number of losses. Therefore, this podcast knows ball.
True. The streets are saying.
Some are saying.
I will say I'm sad. I do think Jimmy deserves a ring just as a human being. I love him. Like, he's a Hall of Famer, if you ask me. I don't think that that's really a question. He had the performance of a lifetime. Like, that was a playoff performance like none other. He got them through that Celtics series and honestly the Bucks series too. I know that Giannis was hurt. I know that the Celtics, weren't playing their best basketball unless they were cornered to do so. But without him, they wouldn't be there, especially with the number of undrafted guys that they have. Tyler Hero was hurt. I want to give Jimmy his flowers. You didn't get swept, kid. And you got to the finals with that fucking roster.
Yeah, I said I have on here that my honest to God, biggest takeaway from the entirety of the postseason is my newfound appreciation for Jimmy Butler. I think he is one of my favorite players in the league now. I went into this season not liking him. Obviously, the Miami Boston rivalry and the T in Philadelphia, learning what that whole situation was really about and getting to really learn who he is as a person and as a personality. He's so funny. Like, he's just a very likable person and a phenomenal basketball player. I continued to be impressed with him every single series he played in. Honestly, kind of carried that team, in my opinion. Like you said, with Tyler Hero being out, I am happy we will not have to look at the bucket hat content for a little bit. That was getting kind of old. I don't know. What did you think about the bucket hat? Thoughts?
I don't give a shit about the
In or
bucket
out on
hat.
the bucket hat?
I'm in. I like a good bucket hat. But
I
will
do too,
say,
but it was too much.
Jimmy Butler, girl dad.
I honestly, I wouldn't, if you asked me a year ago, I would never thought that this would be my take. I think I love Jimmy Butler.
I have loved Jimmy Butler for a long
him.
time.
I think
girl
I love
dad.
him.
We stand a girl dad. Also, Nikola Jokić, girl dad.
Girl dad. Great girl dad.
Are girl dads dominating the NBA? Look at Steph Curry. It's summer saying, dude.
I don't know, because I was going to also point this out when we were talking about Jokić. I think as much as I love Jason Tatum, one of the things that makes him so lovable is his relationship with Deuce. Like these moments in these relationships that we, like get to see where they have families and stuff is so important.
I'm not a huge kid person, but I do love the Deuce content.
I love Deuce.
He's a cutie.
Did
you see the picture of him at school and how much taller he is than all of his other classmates?
Yes.
Wow.
It's funny when you see him on the court with his dad, you're like, he's so little. Mm-hmm. And then you see him next to other kids and you're like, oh my God.
I know.
Duke's about to offer him.
I would die. Oh my God. It'll be the best day of life.
Baby Gronk's like getting all these things, and so is Deuce Tatum.
Baby Gronk versus Deuce Tatum. Can't wait.
Deuce every day, every minute.
Even though they're like 7 years apart.
Are they?
Yeah, Deuce is 5.
I have no clue how old Deuce is.
Deuce is 5. He just turned 5, I think. Any other thoughts? I do have some betting odds stuff here, but if we're gonna do a spoiler alert, I was gonna talk about this at the end of the show. We're gonna do a Tequila Tuesday episode for the NBA draft. We'll probably do some predictions where we think people will go because that will obviously influence the draft. So we'll probably get to all that on Tuesday. So stay tuned for that. Doing a special episode, especially because we missed last week's show.